And we live. What up? Let me hit this button right here. That's too loud. Man, what's going on, Sel?
What's up? What's up? Not much. Hot as fuck out.
It seems like spring is sprung. Like for real, like in a matter of like a week and a half to 2 weeks, the weather just jumped off the cliff, and we're getting this mugginess. Like it's like wild heavy. Now every time somebody comes out of my building, when you go up into the building on the landings, it's wild muggies, like 90 degrees. You could cut through it. When you come off the elevator, I got that AC like on Antarctica. So they're like, oh shit. Yeah, the doctors, there's a doctor.
Like when you get in the pool, that breathing shit.
Like when mommy used to smack the shit when you catch your breath. There's a couple. They're both doctors. They live on the 4th floor, and when they come out, it's usually like 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and I can hear them from the other side of the hall. Oh my God, Ernest, it's freezing in here, and I'm like, good morning. Do you want me to put it on the temperature that is on your landing, or do you? No, but it's just when we get off the elevator, yeah, that's how I like it. Keeps me up.
Yeah.
That overnight shit.
The temperature is set on polar bear.
There you go, baby. You open the door, that fucking humidity comes running in like, you know what I mean? Like a tidal wave. And it's thick. It's like, holy shit, I can't breathe. But, the hot weather's bringing everybody out. The city and the traffic is definitely going back to normal. I will say that. Getting to work on like Monday, I got the morning, and the traffic is fucking retarded. But I be hitting the HOV lane. I'm like, fuck that. There's only 2 of us, but we in the HOV, baby. We
Staten Island, they let you have to? I thought it was 3.
That's what I'm saying. I still be in the HOV lane. I'm like, fuck it. I got, wifey's car is tinted. Not heavy, but it's tinted. So, I go on the premise of, well, if they see us 2 in the front, maybe we'll rock. But even then, highway patrol is far and in between. And that's another thing. You notice that, like, there's hardly any police on the street. I don't know about you.
On the street, no. On the highway, I see them a lot, though.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, in New York?
And by me, it's 2 people, so it's not 3.
It's 2?
Mm-hmm.
Probably because y'all, well, pause, you deep. That shit is out there. Yeah. So I could see it being 2. But then your HOV be getting mad slammed, though, no?
Nah? Nah, it'd be good.
Out here, the HOV has been light, and I don't think people really understand it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Miss Maria Perez, good evening. You see them on the highway a lot, huh? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Is everybody's sorry, so is everybody as you come in the room? Let us know you're here, so we can start this show. Tonight is the midweek chop up, where me and my guy talk about current events, sports, all the goings on.
Phone line in case anybody want to call in.
Hey, listen, the phone line is open. The phone line is open, so if you want to call in,
surprise,
you can hit us up, and we could talk about whatever you like.
What's going on, Maria?
Maria Perez, 60th.
Maria, no, that's
Maria. Okay. Mrs. Moonbeam, Mrs. Health and Wellness and Healing. How are you, Miss Perez? How are you doing? But yeah, if you go into New York City, you don't see police presence. It's like next to nothing.
Right.
The reason why I'm saying that is because there's been a lot of reports, even with the report that you shared me that Lisa Evers was talking about. Shootings are spiking. And they're like, yo, look at these people. They're fucking violent. They're this. I'm like, yo, listen. Gangs are out in the street. They're outside. They're doing whatever they do, what gang members do. So if you're not around, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
They're going to act a fool.
And people don't fight no more. This is
Oh.
straight to the bag. I mean, I heard a conversation the other day. These guys were arguing, and one guy was smaller than the other guy. You know, it was a big dude. But he told him, like, hell, I ain't scared. You know, you big dudes think I'm scared. He was like, I go right in my bag, and I'm just like, man, like nobody fights anymore. Like,
Where was this cell, if I could ask?
what hood is this? The Bronx. It was in the Bronx.
But I'm saying, was it at the field?
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's bad too. Because
it's just bad karma. You already have that negative energy, you know.
Not only that, but sometimes that loose talk, motherfucker, be like, oh, word.
Oh, it couldn't have been at me because I'm walking right off that field. Yeah, I'm going home to get my bag, or I'm gonna give you a reason.
You ain't gonna get to the bag,
Yeah.
right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's bad for business because you could be, selling that wolf ticket and you think a motherfucker's scared, and next thing you know, you let your guard down and he got you, Yeah. But I agree with you with what your sentiment is. A lot of people have been posting that lately, that people are all quick to get a gun. A gun is for home defense, to defend people against your family, to defend your business, not to fight. Like, people are scared of getting an ass whipping, right? And I think that's that's the generation that's taken over, that has taken over now.
Yeah.
You don't see these fights, like fights like that. Like, you don't see that no more.
No, you rarely see fights anymore. Like, anybody, like, it'll be like a bunch of people fighting, but like one-on-ones, and let's go 3 minutes and you go your way, I go mine after. It doesn't happen.
Nope.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But,
Mr. Mark David Valentin, Mr. New York City Hot Wings, Mr. 2.5K views from overseas is in the building. Good evening, sir. Some people anyway. I think more than most nowadays, when a fight breaks out, it gets popping, and usually somebody gets stomped out, or as soon as it starts getting hot, it shit starts flying. You know what I mean? There's countless videos of that happening. And, just around New York, you hear about all the shootings.
Everywhere.
But it goes back to the point, no police presence.
There was a point of even the sucker punching people. Remember that? They were videotaping people getting sucker punched and stuff like that. Like, come on, man.
It's just, I think people, not being held to account. You understand? People think that shit is funny, but if somebody duffs your moms out, you understand? Nobody, the people that are in the street today, the people that are outside today, the young folk from like 15 to say 25, no accountability, none, right? And since there's no accountability, they think that, anything they do is all good, Salute to our brother, Mr. James Morales. We see you. Mark Valentin says, because the Dems are on the defund shit. The same people that need cops want to get rid of them. I don't agree. What do you think, so?
Like I said, we've talked about this before on the show. So if defunding the police means that we're putting the money into like the PAL and the after school programs and things like that to help these kids get off the streets, then I'm with it. You know what I mean? Right. But I mean, where's that money going? The defunding, is it going in politicians' pockets?
Right.
like let's just see where's the money going. If it's because there's like when we were growing up, there was summer programs, there was after school programs, the CFL, all that stuff. A lot of that stuff got taken away, so
right.
My thing is put the money back into the future of the kids.
Right. There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that need to be realized and recognized here. One, the people who take money away from public programs like you're speaking of are not liberal-minded people. Those are people that, There's no need to put money. There's no need to put money into the schools of the inner city. It's a waste. Not realizing that when you take away the arts and sports and all those things, you're leaving kids without an outlet, so to speak. Right. Another thing you have to recognize is defund the police doesn't mean no more police. It means that you're not going to be getting 40 hours of overtime because you're out in the street harassing motherfuckers. Because police don't stop crime. They react to it. You understand? If a motherfucker's beefing on the corner and starts letting off and kills somebody and he jets, the police don't show up prior to that and shoot that guy and take his gun away. No. They show up after the fact. It's always been that way.
Did you hear about the guy with the correction officers, the retired cop and retired correction officer?
I heard. Hold that thought. Let's run this track and we're going to start this show. We're getting into the thick of it now. Let's go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner,
Sally Song in the building.
And this is the set 6145. Today is the midweek chop up where my partner and I talk about current events, sports, and everything going on in our world. You can chime in, voice your opinion. We'll even have the phone line open if you want to call in and discuss or bring up a topic that we're missing that you think is important. Phone lines are open right now, 973-765-6247. All right. So if you wanna rant,
get that work. You want to get that work?
You want to get that work?
Surprise, motherfucker.
You can call us up and we'll chop it up with you. All right. So it's the midweek chop with my guy, and yeah, we're gonna talk about it all. Good evening to our brother, Mr. Calvin Kearns, all the way down in Florida. We see you, brother. Peace. So Sully, you were saying about the retired. He was retired.
Yeah, they I think a restaurant owner knew the guy. I think he phoned them, and they he's retired police department, and another guy is corrections. And I think he ended up pulling out the gun and shooting at the guy that was like the EDP, and he ended up it went through the guy, I think, or the guy he ended up shooting the officer or the CO, whatever it was. But I know they were both retired and they both were carrying. So yeah.
Oh, so there was an EDP there?
Yeah, he was acting up in the store, and like the guy phoned them personally, like, listen, can you come help me get this guy out the store?
So while he goes down, there was a cop that already walked in.
No, I guess they were together, like friends.
Okay. All right.
So
for everybody, I'm sorry.
What was that?
So no, I just wanted to let everybody in the room know, because everybody may not be familiar with the term EDP. What does EDP mean? So
emotionally disturbed person.
Right. So he shot at Duke, and it actually hit the other guy.
Yeah, I think it went through the guy and hit the police officer or the CO, whoever. I don't know the exact story, or it missed them and hit the guy.
Yeah. So he's in like critical, no?
Yes.
Wow. Well, my point that I was trying to make. Good evening, Mr. Johnny Chavez. We see you. The point that I was trying to make was defund the police doesn't mean dismantle the police. It doesn't mean no more police. It just means that you're not going to be making 30, 40 hours of overtime. It means that you're going to have to start doing actual police work. And the reality is that we've talked about this many times before. We're of the thought process that police need training. Police need proper training. Police need therapy, right? Because I'm sure there's cops that are quietly suffering from PTSD, alcoholism, and drug abuse. There's a slew of different things that they may be suffering from. The problem is that people don't realize that at this point in time, police have become glorified revenue collectors, right? They're here to make the city money. And it's gotten to a point where they're out of control. Now, how do you balance that out? How do you show cause, if you would? Well, a great way to show cause is don't do your job. And it's happened a lot. Last summer up until now, there were people wilding in the streets, and cops were in, like, people have video of them just sitting in their car like, yo, fuck it, we're not doing nothing.
and mistake that goes in any job, because I'm sure we've all worked with people where they live outside their means, and they're like, they're making overtime and things sweet, and they're like, oh, they're buying this and they're buying that, and I'm like, my man, that overtime is gonna end one day, and you're gonna have to do what are you gonna do then? You're not gonna be able to afford these things. Another thing is too, in union jobs, when we had, police is a union job, but we're talking about people's lives here now.
Yes,
but
sir.
in union jobs, we had in the bus, and we're like, oh, this guy was all right, so I'm gonna slow down. Or in the hospital, parking shit or whatever. Like, you know what, guys, if we finish the job, they're never gonna hire people. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand kind of the gist of the philosophy of which way they're going down.
Right.
We're talking about people's lives now, and this, that's
Yeah.
something totally different.
It's funny that you bring that up, and I'm going to address this comment that Mr. Valentin just made, but you bring that up. What it makes me think about is the men and women, well, really the men, because I don't think there's a lot of women that work in that union, in that sort of rail. LIRR, when dudes was getting banged out, there was cats making 100,000 in overtime, and then they were like, oh, we're going to put clocks in here, and then they were breaking the clocks.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, yo, what kind of balls do you have to do some shit like that? You honestly, you stole that money, right? And now that the MTA wants to say, nope, you're gonna have to punch in, we're gonna break the clock because we run shit.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. For me, everybody excuse my dogs. For me, if you're working a job and you're doing OT and you're busting your ass, you deserve that overtime. But if you're making 100 stacks overtime,
yeah,
and then you want to be like, fuck this clock. What you're saying is F everybody. Like, I don't care what y'all do. Like, this is my shit. That's really disgusting, to be honest with you.
But like, it goes back to people living outside of their means, and they're like, I'm counting on this, on this bread. And
I can't.
It goes into the hustlers, bro. The streets.
Yeah, I can't.
That work's gonna cut off for a few months. You better save that money.
I can't buy that new Harley Street Glide. I can't get the new CVO. I can't buy the new in-ground pool. Oh, fuck yeah, I'm not doing my job. You know what I'm saying? That's not right. If you're doing honest work, then I'm with you. But if there's no way you make 100 stacks of overtime. You're off the clock. You home sleep. And they were getting bagged for that. Why weren't they put in jail? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Mr. Valentine says there are a million programs for those that look for them. The problem is cops think they are above everyone else. Okay, there's twofold there. One, programs if you look for them. Well, the programs we're speaking of is funding schools, right? So schools should have music programs. They should have sports programs. They should have after-school centers. Those are three vital items. And art programs, right? Those are vital programs to keep kids busy, one, to keep them creative and get their minds off of all this shit that's out on the street and in the world. When they pulled the funding for that, what are kids left to do? The internet has taken over, cell phones, When was the last time you seen kids running the 5? I don't see that no more.
Yeah.
Parks are empty, right? And then the second part, cops think they are above everybody else. Yeah, they do. But why? Who's giving them that thought? When you kill people on video and nobody pays a price, nobody's held to account, what do you think I'm going to think? I am above everybody else because nobody's doing shit to me. And there's the blue wall of silence. Why does that even exist? Why aren't their performance records public? They're not private citizens. Like, they're not private workers. They're paid by the funding that they create by giving out tickets and our taxes, and like their performance record should be like public access. So if a guy is choking people out and he does it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times until he kills somebody, if that performance is on public information, they can say, yo, you need to get this guy off the street. Something's wrong with him, right? But if he's never held to account, there goes that.
You just got to look at it this way.
Mhm.
The timeout generation didn't work. Gotta go back to whooping asses and chancletas and
That's right.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Kill the bitch.
What?
That has to happen. I think discipline, the government definitely stepped in and took over raising children. You leave a mark on your kid, you go to jail. Period. There's no two ways about it. And these kids today, again, no accountability. Disrespecting their parents, their moms. As you know, especially coming from a single mother, single parent home. How are you going to disrespect your moms? Like,
well, it goes into their role models. The role models have zero accountability. I have issue. These guys sign contracts in sports, and then they're like, "No, I want to get traded. I want to go play with LeBron, or I want to go do this." Bro, you signed that contract. You knew what you was getting into. There's no accountability with a lot of the sports guys either. And it's like, everybody just want to be, life is not always, roses. Everybody wants to be on the best teams and be with the best players. And nah, man, you got to grind. And that's what, we need to get back to.
Mr. Sammy Sierra, good evening. We see you. He said it's a $6 billion budget. Why? We're not living in fucking Beirut. This ain't Chicago. Like, why? That's ridiculous. Don't think that Pat Lynch has to put every program in place. No, I'm not talking about. We already said that police need programs and they need training. They need therapy. They need retraining. Those things need to be addressed. We're talking about for the kids. If we're defunding the police and we're taking a chunk out of their budget, that money should go into the education system for kids. Period. That's what should happen. And if weed is legal in New York City, a huge portion part of the tax revenue that's collected should go into the education system of all the inner city boroughs where people are arrested and harassed for smoking weed. Period. Point blank.
Legalize weed, legalize gambling. You see that budget. Nice, get paid off.
Bro, let me tell you something. When we used to go to Governor's Island, I used to say, yo, you know what they should do? They should make Governor's Island into a Vegas. If they was to make Governor's Island into a Vegas, que tú puedes irse, fumar, tomar, prostituta, toda esa mierda, like they do in Vegas, the money that would come off that motherfucker, problem solved.
The body floating in the water, though.
They don't, not in the East River. They don't float, bro. Them just going down. They're going down, for real.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we're gonna move on though. But let me highlight this comment right here. The white folks started that no-hitting shit. Well, we all know it wasn't in our community. There was no timeout in our community. That's dead. Never, ever, ever, ever. Right? Mr. Kenny Rodriguez says, have you seen the police? How the police are equipped? They look like paratroopers. They have anti-personal equipment, drones, etc. Well, that's for a purpose. That's for a purpose. They are equipping.
No, go ahead.
They're equipped that way for a purpose, man.
In our community, if you fell down, and your parents be like, "Quien te manda?" Like, yo, like what the fuck? Like I just fell. Like,
didn't I tell you to stop running?
Sigue jodiendo.
Yeah, and you sitting there crying your eyes out. No fucking pity. That's what you get for being a mamao.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start with our first topic. So I'm gonna go with COVID. So everybody has mixed emotions and feelings about COVID, right? I think I've shared how I felt. I'm sure you have as well. What I find interesting is all the ploys and tactics that they're using to get everybody to get the shot, right? If you're telling me that I can get some, what is that burger? Shake Shack? I'll get some free Shake Shack. I'll get some tickets to a concert. I'll get entered into. There's one state that's running a $5 million lottery that you can get tickets for.
College funding too.
Yeah, college fund. Like, if you're telling me you're gonna give me all this if I get this needle, that shit is sus. It just is. Because if it's really about health and safety, right? If this is something that's really good for the masses, they would just lock it off and be like, yo, listen, we got to do this because it has to happen. Yeah, people are going to die if we don't take care of ourselves, and you need this needle. This, nah, man. I don't believe any of it. Look at this. New York City Football Club tickets, Brooklyn Cyclone tickets. Yo, a 10-ride ferry pass on the New York City ferry, Statue of Liberty, public parking, theater memberships. Like, come on, man.
I encountered a situation recently myself with this because I'm registering to go continuing education and going back to school, and actually looking to do some, learning more broadcasting besides my public speaking stuff, and continuing in that genre, and they're like, if you do, you have to take the vaccine because a lot of this stuff is hands-on, with the equipment and learning this, and I'm kind of like, damn, like, what do I do now? I can't do this remotely, so they got it. They kind of got me tied up on this.
Wow. See, that's the other thing. They're also creating a silent sort of war. And I know war is a drastic word, but let me just use that as I can only use that now in this moment. There's going to come a point where people are going to start chastising the other for not getting this needle. And it's already happening, right? Older folks that I've encountered, why haven't you? None of your fucking business. That's why. I haven't caught as much as a hangnail this whole time, let alone a cold, right? So I don't understand what you're probably, you got one foot in the grave, buddy. I'm reaching midlife. You worried about yourself? All right, handle your business. Because if you fall down the stairs right now or trip and bust your hip, if I was to do the same thing, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make it out. 9 times out of 10, your ass might be done. So there's a difference. We're in different places in our life. But, again, there's so much more that goes into it. I'm oversimplifying the situation. To me, the shit is rushed. I really don't know what the fuck is in those vaccines. I barely know what it is, what's in a lot of the shit that we eat, but we know it's trash. So,
Well, it goes to the, speaking of bust, I almost bust my hip today. I busted my ass in the crib, bro. But, yo, I'm going to be feeling it tomorrow. Damn. I was like airborne. But, speaking of, the COVID stuff, about the mask, like I always had my doubt with the mask, like, and now Fauci report came out, and it's like, how do you, we knew that from the beginning. It was like, wear the mask, don't wear the mask. And there's no protection. If I'm smelling your farts, there's no protection, man. I don't want to hear it.
See, that's another thing. This report, freedom of information is really like fucking these people up. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. There's so much that has come pause with the freedom of information. Yeah. So, it listen, everybody knows that something was out there, right? We lost a guest that was supposed to come on, succumbed to COVID. His mom succumbed to COVID. Friends of ours, people we know and love, their parents and family members, whatever, right? However, at a point in time, we also understood that they were making everything COVID, right? You go to the doctor or whatever. Oh, let me test you for COVID. Let me stick this thing all the way through your nostrils, right? And it seems like now, because I had an incident like a week ago where I wasn't feeling well, and they couldn't push me out fast enough. They were like, "Nah, you good. Get out of here."
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, But these Fauci emails really tell the story, because when you speak, when you think nobody's listening, that's when you're telling the truth. And if you listen and if you read his emails, he says it. He's like, yeah, these masks don't do shit. These things that they're wearing don't do shit. So then he got caught the first time and he said, I lied because I wanted to make sure that the supply chain wasn't interrupted. If the public gets a hold of it, there's not going to be none for the essential workers. So he admitted that. Now he's saying, past that, the masks don't do nothing. And he's getting confronted about it. And he's like, that's not what I meant. And, whatever. Then on top of that, the whole situation where they're starting to understand that this shit may have been created in the lab. I mean, you know, I don't fuck with these people. I don't believe shit that they say.
Those labs, they create a lot of this stuff. They creating it, and if it goes the wrong way, that's what happens. People take it out of that lab.
Yeah, and then you know, we're talking about mask wearing and so on. You know, as I said before, it's creating a war between people, like vaccinated, unvaccinated. The mask situation definitely started that shit, right? Like you can't go you see videos all the time. You can't, put your mask on. You can't come in here and blah, blah, blah. And they calling the police and all this other bullshit.
Well, some places, like some gyms now, it's a free for all. Some people ain't wearing masks.
Really?
You know what I mean? And they ain't saying anything, you know, and how are you going to question? You can't question. Did you take the vaccine? Did you not? That's a HIPAA violation. I'm like, you know, like I saw the meme the other day, like, do you like anal? You know, like what? Like, you know, exactly. Don't ask me no crazy shit.
Yeah. Do you like anal? That's an amazing segue.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It's gotten crazy, and it's gonna get crazier. It's definitely gonna get crazier. But this
civil war has been planned. Civil war is something that's coming eventually, and it's little by little we've gotten taste of it with the whole Trump and, you know, this situation. Now it'll be this, and then the aliens are coming, and, you know, we got that coming up, you know, that report. So
yeah,
a lot of, you know, stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner
Sally Sasson. Shout out
to the bitches I ain't holding down the set. Shout out to the bitches.
So we're chopping it up, talking about current events, you know, everything that's going on in the world. And you know, if you people haven't realized that they're pulling so many fucking stunts to tear you in different directions, man, I really don't know what to tell you. But speaking of COVID and deaths and whatever, I kind of forgot to mention this. I mean, I wanted to bring this up. Everybody in the room, just give me a sec. You know, a day or two ago, a childhood friend of ours lost his life. And it was a huge loss. This is somebody that we grew up from. Wow. I don't know how young you were in contact, because I think you went to did you go to 314 with him?
I went to 314, yeah.
Yeah. I know Macho from since 314, but Free Lunch and TJD days, like that far back. So our childhood friend, Mr. Luis Macho Nieves, passed away 2 days ago, and it was a huge loss. You know, Macho was a great guy. He was a great friend, and friends become family. He was our brother, and he was the type of guy that, you know, no matter what you were doing, you know, he always rooted for you. He was always happy to see people doing good or trying to do things for themselves. And he was an entrepreneur himself. He was very successful. He loved fishing. He loved his family. He left some of his kids behind as well. But, you know, we just want to send, you know, love and prayers to the whole Nieves family, Nell, Nestor, and the rest of the family. And, you know, it was a huge loss. So, you know, I'm sorry it got away from me, but I wanted to mention that, you know, tonight's show is dedicated to his memory, and, you know, rest in peace. And again, condolences to the whole Nieves family and the whole Sunset Park, BWS, 60th and 61st Street. You know, we all love Macho, and let's keep his memory alive by being good to each other and supporting one another. Like you can see here, we started the show. This is the first thing he called me. He's like, yo, Papa, I want a shirt. So I had to make it my business to get one done and send it out to him. So, you know, rest in peace to our brother.
My memories of Macho would be like, he was one of those dudes that he would tell a joke and he'd be the first one laughing. So you had to laugh because he was laughing so hard that you were like, you had to laugh with him, you know?
Yeah.
But when I saw the post from Ray Hernandez, I was kind of like, I hope this is, because Macho had that, you know, he had that comedic thing in him sometimes. And I'm like, man, I hope this is a joke. Like, I hope this is like Machiavelli, you know, he's trying to do something, because I can't believe this is happening right now, you know? Yeah. But, you know, for some like 6-1 and like 60th, like like our whole blocks. We're losing a lot of people young, man. And I just want to send our prayers out to the family.
For real. Yeah, that kind of got away from me, but rest in peace to Macho, man. Such a good fucking dude.
Yeah.
And his laugh, like his laugh could fill up a whole room, man. He was just.
And what you said about him wanting to see people do well, that's 100% spot on. He was like with Nelson. He used to always talk to me about Nelson and how happy he was for his brother and stuff. And I knew the lawyers, like all the stuff. Like we had mutual friends and stuff. So in that lawyer firm. So.
And this is crazy because it's number 2 for that BWS crew. They lost Eric and now Macho. It's crazy.
I think they lost another one too.
Oh yeah, there was another one. The dude that got hit on his motorcycle by the hospital.
Yes.
Wow, it's crazy. But yeah, too young, way too young. All right, Sally, what were you saying? You were talking about UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a report coming out.
Well, there's a report actually out. Let me pull it up for everybody. So
Maria wants the aliens to take her away, she said.
I don't think so. You know what they do? They get the probe. You don't want that. Oh, wait, late to the room. The regular schmegular, Miss Angelica Reyes, we see you. Miss Lou Dubois says, not true. You can question about the vaccine. They've even created an app so you can prove you've been vaccinated. HIPAA is about a diagnosis. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. Where I'm at, they want to have everybody on the app and you can show it. And I'm like, why don't I just put a tag on me? You know what I mean? Like, this is, my identifier.
Yeah.
Shit is, to me, it's
the beast.
Yeah, let's not jump off the cliff. So it says, after a months-long investigation, the Pentagon is poised to produce a report addressing sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena. They call it UAP, more commonly known as unidentified flying objects. Fucking tongue-tied. But don't expect a big reveal about the secret alien technology and extraterrestrial spaceships. The aim of the report is to establish standards for recording sightings of mysterious objects to determine if those objects pose a threat to national security. All right. That's where I'm going to stop because that's the sticking point. Let me explain something. If you guys can bear with me. There's so much division in this country. It'll take one incident to create, like you said, there's a pending war, right? What's something that could happen that could change all of that? If we all had a common enemy. Just like during 9/11, everybody hated Arabs. Everybody hated anybody. Well, not everybody, but the majority of the country, and the drumbeat was hatred towards Muslims and Arabs. Right. So what I mean to say is when you have a common enemy, that brings unification. And in this moment, just like under the years of Bush, when this country was about to explode because of all the fuckery that was going on, they created a common enemy. And everybody got behind. Yo, we got to go blow this dude up. We got to go to Afghanistan. Somehow ended up in Iraq. And every other, yeah. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying to you is this has been something on the radar for 30, 40 years. And if you believe that these people do not understand that there's another, I'm not going to say race. I'm going to say there's something else out in our universe that they've already known about for many, 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 many years. You're fooling yourself. And know that the government never lets anything good get away from them that they can use against the people. They just never do. So I'll just say that. I'm not even going to take it any further.
Do people feel that there's life outside of this world? Like, you know what I mean? Like the universe out there, do people feel that there's life forms out there, or we're the only ones?
I think that it drives a more religious conversation. It changes the direction of the conversation, right? So when you start to talk about things like that, it opens up a can of worms. And then people start going off on, oh no, that's evil, that's this, that's that. You know, you go with what you've learned or been taught. So what I mean by that is, if you were born in Saudi Arabia, chances are you would be a Muslim. Why? Because that's what you're around, and that's what they would be teaching you, right? So unless you get out of that bubble or that land and go travel out and start to experience and know people and start to learn on your own, only then possibly your views could change. So people only do what they're taught and what they believe to be true. And somebody who's like, let's say a Mormon, people who are born into the Mormon religion and that's beaten to their head, you know, from the day that they're born and can learn, they grow up. You tell them that Mormonism is fake, they look at you like you're bugging, like you're crazy, because you're inside that bubble. You're not going to believe anything else. So when you have like a conversation like this and you tell people, oh, you know, there's a more intelligent life force that's out in our universe. No, there's not. You understand? Religion and beliefs start to collide, and you can't have an open dialogue about that.
I think there has to be, you know what I mean? This is so, you know, it's so huge, right? The galaxies and all that stuff. It has to be other life forms. I've been in Puerto Rico, and I remember being in Vega Baja, and the lights was out in Willie's Town, and we're looking, and I see this shit hovering, and all of a sudden just do a beeline, and I was like, yo, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? And it was like, was that an encounter for me? Was that, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like a plane, because the shit was like, boom, like things that, you know, a plane and things ain't doing. You know what I mean? I seen shit in Sunset. I remember being in Sunset, and I seen this thing hovering like a black, looked like a big bird, son. And then all of a sudden, like it did like 3 twists, and then just gone. And I wasn't on no drugs or nothing. You know what I mean? Like this shit is like, there's something. Maybe it's a government. You know what I mean? Maybe, but it was something that's not like a regular plane. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely believe there's life forms out there.
Listen, all you have to do is look around the world at the things that can't be explained. And I always point to this, the pyramids, right? Those pyramids are so perfectly complexed and placed specifically, right? It's perfect north, and the dimensions of each stone and how much they weigh and all this. Dude, if that doesn't tell you that there was an intelligent life force that was on this planet at one time, and they were like, yeah, you know, we're not gonna rock with y'all no more. You know what I mean?
Sure, I wasn't high. Nah, I wasn't high. I never.
Yeah, Sully wasn't. Yeah, Sully definitely wasn't with it when we was growing up.
Little pepitas when I got older, going out, you know, ecstasy, you know, that's different. So it wasn't in that era.
Some drink in 40s maybe, but he would not even tree like growing up. Nah, I think that was like when you came back from college, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Wow, yeah, he definitely wasn't high. But yeah, the government has been aware of high, like more intelligent life outside of this world for long periods of time. And I'll say this: one place that you have to look to or read up on is Antarctica, and read up on why nobody can go up there. Like, we can go anywhere in the world. You know, you have a passport, you go here, you go there, blah, blah, blah. But you can't go up there. Like, nobody. And that's where there's a lot of shit going on.
Right.
There's a reason for it. You know, I'll say that.
Well, the Puerto Rico Junques has people always claim machine that like refueling tanks and shit. Yeah. Like the UFOs are refueling there. Like so many go over there, they say. So
yeah. And you know, we don't put those things up for nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not there for nothing. People you may not know or understand, but those things aren't up there for nothing. There's a reason. So, you know, it is what it is. If you think we're alone, you're bugging. We're energy, and energy just doesn't die. Just, you know, here, there, everywhere. He said we got the chupacabra and PR. What we have are stories. That's what we have. Nobody has caught a chupacabra. Everybody claims that. Yo, what happened to people getting kidnapped by the UFOs and getting the anal probe? What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to the cows that were getting mangled and crop
They're
circles?
here now. They're shapeshifters.
Yeah,
Aliens are amongst us.
I don't. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Sally, let's go. What's going on? Let's talk sports, man. I know Mr. Valentin was mentioning the Knicks, but let's start in sports, man. What happened with the Knicks, man? They didn't show up.
Knicks had a good year. They just wasn't, the Hawks are good. They're proving it now. They're playing the Sixers tough. Knicks had overachieved. They were a week away from being, everybody's like, oh, they were 4 seed. They could have been a 10 seed. So
yeah, for sure.
That's
for
all.
Sure.
But
I think it was a good look. Like, I know everybody in New York is disappointed because we wanted New York basketball to, we wanted that revival.
Yeah.
And overall, I think the Knicks had an amazing season. They improved from last year. And, as always.
From many years.
Yeah. I'm being kind.
Yeah.
But there's always next season, and who knows, what trades or swaps or whatever happen.
They just got to stay the course. Keep building. Yeah. They want people are like, oh, I want Lillard. I want this. I don't want Lillard. Unless like Kawhi Leonard or somebody opts out of that's a monster and comes to us, then I'll be like, all right, now let's trade for somebody. But stay the course. Let's just keep building and, hopefully have a good rivalry with the Nets. The Nets are doing their thing. I can't knock them. I don't, but they're doing their thing and they're 2 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals. And, we hope to keep building. The Knicks keep keep building and be there.
Now, with the Nets, they smashed these dudes.
Yeah.
And not only that, the Beard was out, right? He's hurt with a hamstring injury.
Basically hasn't played the 2 games.
They putting in work. So this KD, your man was playing possum. I kind of have that feeling. I see his face. I forget his name right now. The redhead dude.
Oh, Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
He was playing possum, was he not?
He was stealing money. He was stealing money.
Wow. Well, the Nets are definitely doing their thing, and you kind of forget that Blake is there to a degree, and you think, your man KD and Kyrie are getting loose with it, and he, KD came off an injury, whatever, but still they're getting busy. Do you see them as a contender for the chip?
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought the Bucks was. I had picked the Bucks to beat them. Actually, I thought the Bucks would beat them. I mean, it's still not over. They still got to go to Milwaukee now, but they look like the same team that's been the last 2 years and folding and choking. But they definitely could win. They definitely have,
the potential.
Yeah, definitely.
So if they get to
the yuppie gentrification parade down Brooklyn, down Fulton.
For real, right? If they, let's say, for instance, they win the chip or they get to the chip, do they have the potential to take on, if they're all healthy, and actually win? Do you think?
I think they could win it. I as of, I don't see no far, like how do you call it, like a great team that's like the Warriors were, like things like that, like these guys are unbeatable. The Nets are probably that team right now. Even without Harden, they got those 2 guys, and the other guys could step up and score, which is kind of like with the the Hawks. The Hawks, I said with Trae Young, I'm like, let him shoot and let him shoot, like keep shooting, like the little floaters and him driving and kicking it out.
Right.
That's what killed the Knicks, and it was doing the Sixers the same thing. But yesterday they switched up and let him shoot. He went 1 for 7 from threes. You know what? If he hits him, he hits him. If he don't, he don't. He's taking deep shots. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, Lakers lost. I'm happy about that, and not because of the Lakers. I do like Lakers, but you already know Lambong James.
Let's call it what it is. Is it time for LeBron to retire?
He's not retiring.
No, he's not retiring. But I'm saying, I don't think he's the franchise player that he once was. Father Time has shown up, right? I think it's time for him to start falling back. Score your little 25, 30 points, but you shouldn't
He's
Me-
never been that guy. It's just his fans are always. He's never been that alpha. He's never been that alpha because he had Kyrie do his thing, or he had Wade do his thing, and he had Anthony Davis do his thing. But now Anthony Davis was hurt, and now he had to be that guy, and he's not that guy. That's why they want Lillard or they want Beal to come. And now that he's older, that's the excuse. Oh, because now they can score. But no, you always been that way, and it's cool. But how do you say it? He won't win. He wants to play with his son. Basically, that's what he's gonna hang on to. He wants his son to be in the league. Yeah, his son gonna want his son to get drafted, and I think in like 2 years, and then that's what he's gonna want. And I don't know if his son's even a draft, a good kid to be drafted.
Yeah. I think I wasn't even thinking about that, but I think with his clout, he could make that happen.
Oh, for 100%.
Yeah. 1, 2. I think that LeBron, his day in the sun is over, and he's never been that dude. And it was proven this time out because he became a distributor, all the while playing the media saying, "Oh, my shoulders are built for this, and I'm going to empty the gun, and after that, I'm going to throw it at them." Dude, if your team is under 30% shooting and you know it, why are you giving up the rock? Drop 45, go out shooting. And it is what it is. We knew, your supporting cast wasn't going to help. But, even with the championship, the for me, championship 2.0 in the bubble, I don't see that as a win. I don't even see that something to be bragging about.
It is a win. It's not the NBA that we know, but it's a win. But there's an asterisk on it. I had this conversation with somebody. There's an asterisk on that because, yeah, you played 60-game season. Okay. But you had 2 months off or whatever it was to regroup. And then you were in the bubble. You're not traveling. You're not, you know what I mean? Like there was like a
crowd.
So there's an asterisk on it. No crowd. Yeah, exactly. So you won, but there's an asterisk on it, and then for him to even be like when he when he went to Cleveland and won, he like, this makes me the GOAT. Like, who says that, bro? Like Jordan never said that. Like these guys never talked about they were the greatest. Like you don't, and that's the problem. Everybody today, me. Like I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
So
it's when they win, it's only because of LeBron. When they lose, it's everybody else's fault. Mm-hmm. That's the problem that I have with that situation.
And here's my other problem with that situation.
Well, I got another one too. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, we could talk about this all night. You built it. You built it the way you want. So don't be mad when it doesn't work. You did it in Cleveland. You did it in Miami. You did it here. You got this guy's not working. See ya. You got it. You traded what's his name and kept Kuzma. You traded the kid to the New Orleans Pelicans. What's the kid's name? The tall, lanky kid. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will know. But you traded him. Like, come on, you guys made these moves. You traded the kid because he dribbles Ball. You traded him because he's a point guard. Because LeBron's a point forward. So now LeBron's dribbling, and these guys are just standing in the corners. Like, all right, you give me the ball, or they're playing defense. I'm gonna give it back to you, bro. Like that stagnant offense has been forever. Like, so.
We gotta wait for him. Yeah, we gotta wait for him. The other thing is, LeBron fans are hard. Pause. LeBron fans are difficult to talk about the situation with because of the fact that they're under this like Trump-esque type of delusion, and they believe everything he says. Right. So on one hand, their argument is, they always drag Jordan into it. So the argument becomes, oh, you got 6 chips. Motherfucker, that's all I need. That's all I need. Right. He's 6-0, right? Okay, cool. But let's look at it this way. What is LeBron paying for? Tell me. He's playing for stats? Since he came in the league, what is he playing for? He's playing to win a chip and as many as possible. He's not even 500 in the chip. He's not, right? What's his first 3P? Oh, never. When he went to Miami, who washed him? Dirk Nowitzki? Like, and he was saying, dude is too old to fuck with us.
And they had no superstars.
None.
Only him.
And the whole Jason Terry situation, the whole disappearing act. But getting back to the chips, dude, You're not even 500. You're the greatest player to never do it. He's amazing, no doubt. Hall of Fame, without question. He's one player that had his moment, but he's never going to be better than Michael Jordan. It just is what it is.
What's LeBron James' greatest moment?
Maybe his second chip.
No, I'm saying like the play.
Oh, the play. I don't know. Dishing off.
I tell you what it is. His greatest play is the rundown block.
Yeah.
He held the rim and grabbed. There should have been a goaltender. He held the rim and blocked. But I'm a hater because I don't know whatever. But he made the block. That's his greatest play. Jordan got the shot. You know what I mean? Like on Elo, he got the shot on Russell. You know, he got the passes to Kerr. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
There's so many you could pick from.
Come on, bro. Like, James is an all-time great.
He is.
That GOAT convo shit, please, they need to stop that. And he needs to apologize for even saying that he was the GOAT ever.
Yo, let's end it with this. I still can't get over the fact that this dude is jacking Jordan's number. I don't think that's, and nobody talks about it. He's jacked Jordan's number to muddy the waters in history. Because when you ask anybody in the world who's number 23, it's Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But now, since he's done that and he's been wearing 23, it's LeBron. Bro, your sneakers are in Walmart. Stop it.
Bro, you had number 6. You had number 23. You had, like, come on.
Did he have 24 at one point?
Nah, I think Kobe.
It was Kobe. Kobe did that. But even Kobe, come on, man. He respected that dude.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
And when did he pass Kobe? That's what I want to know.
Listen, oh no, but Kobe doesn't, rest in peace to Kobe and his daughter, but he doesn't even exist in a lot of people's minds, which to me is like wild disrespectful, but whatever. All right, let's get another sports topic going. I don't want to talk about that clown no more. So they had an exhibition. What did you think about it? The Mayweather Paul Logan situation.
I can't even say I watched. I watched maybe a few seconds. It was it was horrible. I didn't want to watch it. I felt, honestly, Floyd Mayweather is one of my all-time favorite fighters, as far as, like, to me, probably the best defensive fighter I ever saw. And for him to do this, I kind of like tarnished that for me. So I didn't want to watch.
I watched 5 rounds and then I gave up. I was like, yo, I gotta go to sleep. I'm tired and this is boring. Mm-hmm. Right? What I'm gonna say pertains to Mayweather and the business, because it's one of the things that made me start liking him during his Money Mayweather, his Pretty Boy time. He had a promoter and he was with Arum at that time.
Bob Arum, yeah.
Okay, he was with Arum. He got away from Arum and took the reins and control of himself, right? Now, I liked him as Pretty Boy Floyd. When he became Money Mayweather, I was like, this guy's fucking unbearable. But it made me start thinking about all the boxers of past, like all the greats, Tyson, Ali, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, you could just, the list goes on and on, right? How do most of these great boxers end up going out? Broke, destitute, nothing. Like, not a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
Right? But
like the rappers.
They need a hip-hop union. But Floyd was able to understand and learn the business, even though he probably cannot read too well. And I say that in a serious manner. I don't say that to make fun of him. I say that in a very serious manner, because it speaks to his life overall and where he comes from. So Floyd was able to understand and learn the business and build a team around himself and start to capitalize off his own sweat, which promoters hate him for. It's not that he talks shit and I'm this, and it's not that. What it really is about that bread, and nobody can get in his pockets, right? So I said to myself, the next day I was thinking about this exhibition, and I'm like, let me see. So if he was still under Bob Arum, and Bob Arum could have made this Logan exhibition, and Bob Arum was gonna walk away with 150 million and pay Floyd like 1.5. Do you think Bob Arum would have made that fight?
Yeah, he would have made the fight.
And that speaks to my point.
Yeah.
If Floyd Mayweather could still garner this much attention and sell that many pay-per-views and make that much money, yo, you got to put respect on that man's name. Now, when it comes to the sport of actual boxing, yeah, it's fucked up. It is. Because it's not what we understand boxing to be. This is a sideshow, you know, but there's money to be made. And this is America.
No, for sure. I mean, like I said, support is free, right? So you could watch it or you don't. I mean, the fight wasn't free, but I mean, you know, got the fire stick, but you know, but
for me.
But I'm saying, you know, it's just not, you know, it's not my thing. Like I actually thought, honestly, thinking in that realm of what you speak of, I thought Floyd was going to get knocked out, or you know, like dropped or something, just to have a rematch for 200 million because it wasn't going to count on his record. You know what I mean? So that's why. That's what I thought. I thought that's how that was going to go down. But I mean, Floyd, to me, Floyd could still fight with the best of them if he wanted to. That guy, you know, he doesn't do any drugs. He doesn't, you know, he's in shape. He's a gym rat. He maybe not as much as before, but he, you know, they were talking about that the other day, like, you know, with Canelo. I said, if Canelo, they fight it the right way, he'll beat Canelo again just because he's smart. I know guys are saying this and that. Floyd just defensively is, you don't see him get hit twice.
It's on another planet.
You don't see him get comboed. He gets caught, either he's grabbing or he's out of there.
Yep. Salute to my barber, Mr. Carlos Toribio. I see you, brother. And Mr. Benny DeLeon out of Florida from Waterworks. Salute to you, brother. Yeah, Floyd, you know, Floyd is going to be Floyd no matter what. And, you know, he's retired. If people are going to pay, he's going to take their bread. Because, again, if any other promoter could have control over a fighter, they would make that fight and walk away with that bread. From Bob Arum to fucking Mr. America's Great. Fucking, I hate that.
How many guys he robbed, Don King? You know what
Jesus
I mean?
Christ.
All these promoters who ain't raised a hand in their life. They ain't, you know, they ain't kill a fly, but they're making money off these guys, you know, because they have no education or they're from the ghetto and, you know.
Yeah, man. But speaking of fuckery, there's another fight coming up. Have y'all seen this? Woo, this is amazing. So evidently, there's going to be these two fights, right? Now, this first fight, I could care less for. Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter, I could really care less for. However, the second fight between Cisco Rosado and Peter Guns, I'm with the shits. I want to see this. Peter Guns, first of all, is a legend out of the Bronx and Soundview, and he's a extremely musically talented person. I never really understood that about him until some years back. But the brother could play multiple instruments, could write music, super talented. Cisco Rosado, as I understand, is like some sort of producer. I don't know his work, whatever. They were both on the show. Evidently, there's a bone to pick there, and they're gonna try to take each other's heads off. So I'm with the shits, and I want to see this. I don't. What about you, Sal?
You know, it's funny. I spoke to Big Sam, the brother, Big Samuel Grand.
Salute.
And he was like, "Yeah, Peter's fighting Cisco." And thump popped in my head for some reason, bro. And I'm like, why the fuck is Peter Guns fighting Cisco? And Sam's like, yeah, and he's Cisco's like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, he's big.
And I'm like, what? And I'm like thinking thong the whole time. And I'm like, oh, damn, the video didn't make him look that big, And then I seen the picture. I was like, oh, here we go. This guy.
Yeah, different Cisco dude.
Yeah.
Can you imagine little Cisco?
Wearing a thong, fucking in trunks.
Peter's giving up a lot of weight, man. Cisco's a big dude, It's like I said with the Floyd fight. I was like, yo, he's giving up 30 pounds. One looping punch,
And the height.
Yeah, it could put you in a bad place. You know what I mean? But I want to see it. I want to see what these dudes look like when they throw in their hands. You know,
Friday in AC might take a ride.
Nah, fuck that. But it's interesting. Chad Ochocinco fought on the Floyd undercard, and you like when you see these dudes. You know, Ochocinco's still in incredible shape, right? Salute to our brother, Mr. Anthony Montenegro. We see you, brother. He's still in incredible shape, but when it comes to this, when it comes to the knuckle game, all over the place.
You don't play boxing, bro.
Yeah, you don't. You definitely don't. So it'll be interesting to see how these cats, you know, these are two dudes from the hood, right? Be very interesting to see how they fight each other.
In my memory, you know, my man Cello Glove, shout out to Cello. He always used to tell me, you can't work out jaw.
That's right. That's facts. But you got to find the jaw first. You got to be able to you know what I mean? That's where you don't play boxing. That's not, yeah, you don't do that. And lastly, speaking of fights, ooh, this is a big one, man. Pause. This is some that we're looking forward to. And look at that, just blanked out on us. Sorry about that. Our guy,
Yes, sir.
Sunset Park, Mr. Teofimo Lopez Jr. is going to be fighting Kambosos Jr. This is a fight to see. And this is taking place the 19th at 9 p.m. You know they're going to have wild undercards, but this is a fight we want to see. The kid Kambosos is not a slouch. Let me just say that. I saw a couple of his fights. I looked him up because the name was familiar to me, and then I was like, no, that's Gamboa. Right. Who's this Kambosos kid? And I looked up some of his fights. Dude is no slouch. He got hands. He got that work. He was talking a lot of shit at their first meeting. Of course, Tia was like, yo, I'm going to give you that work. Like, I'm going to put you down. But we're definitely looking forward to watching this fight and supporting our guy from Sunset Park. Man, what do you think, Sel? Have you seen anything on Kambosos?
You know what? I can't honestly say I've watched a lot of his stuff, you know. My thing is more what I've seen from T.O. So, you know, unless he's better than Lomachenko, this guy, I don't see you taking care of anything with T.O. So
I think that speaking to your point about Lomachenko, it brings up the fact that different fighters pose different sorts of threats.
Yes.
Right. So
styles make fights, they say.
Yeah, exactly. So the Theo fought Nakatani?
Yes.
Okay, so Nakatani gave him a good fight. If you watch the fight, the reason why he gave him such a good fight is he's tall, right? And Nakatani is super lanky and awkward.
Yeah.
He's super awkward. So what I'm trying to point out to you is when Teo would normally be able to load up and let off and, you know, hit a fighter with a lot of power, Nakatani's movement made him so awkward that the punches, you know, he wouldn't be able to load up. Yeah, right? And even if they did connect, his movement and awkwardness would take away power from the punch. So that's why I believe they went to the distance in that fight. But this kid, he's offering it up. He's a counterpuncher, which it's going to make for an amazing fight because Teo is a great counterpuncher as well. The question is, can Kambosos hold Teo's power?
Sometimes those counterpuncher fights are terrible because nobody starts first.
Yeah,
but I think Teo will come, you know, bring the action.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing fight. I'm really hoping that he pulls it out. Pause. I think this is going to be a good look for him. And honestly speaking, I think if and when he beats this dude, Haney got nowhere to go. Like, you have to fight him now. And I think that's where it's going.
I think Teo's going to go up. I don't think he's going to stay that way.
140? He does look bulkier. I mean, he's trimmed down a lot. If you see him, he's fucking shredded. Yeah. But then when you see him in the ring, he looks, you know.
Yeah, because you water back up.
Well, yeah.
But he's killing himself to make that weight.
You think so?
Yeah.
Was it 135?
Mm-hmm.
135, 137, something like that. I think that the reason why I want him to stay is because I want him to fight Tank. I want him to fight Tank. I want him to fight Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney's last fight, he got rocked. You know, it's not to say that his opponent was a slouch, because not. The guy's got experience. He's a great fighter. Everybody was saying this is going to be a true test for him. He controlled the fight. He did his job. He controlled it with the jab, kept him on the outside. You know, he had his way with him. But in the late round, I think 9 or 10, right before the bell rang, he slipped a right hand, caught his jaw, and dude was like on his toes. Oh shit. And then the other fighter was like, oh, ole, yeah, dude. He didn't have anything left in the tank. So when they came out, he could have finished him, but he was gassed out. Right. So Devin Haney got back in the fight, and he ultimately won. You know, shout out to him. He did his thing. But if that's another younger prospect, another fighter like Atil, you're not surviving that, because when you come out, he's going to be all over you.
Attack.
You know what I mean? He's going to attack. He's still going to have gas in the tank. He's going to be able to put you down. So I really want to see Devin Haney fight Teofimo Lopez. Does it happen? I don't know.
I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Puerto Rican Parade is Sunday. Well, virtual, I guess. Who is your all-time favorite Puerto Rican boxer?
Oh, the Radar. I mean, in my heart of hearts, it's always going to be Trinidad. It's always going to be. And let me say this. You know, a lot of people that I talk to, they bag on Trinidad, and they say that he fought with loaded gloves and he was a cheater and he was dirty. Listen, man, cut the bullshit. The man was an amazing boxer. He was a disciplined athlete. He had power in both hands. They knew what Trinidad posed to the boxing world. And I believe 100% that Don King did him dirty. And that whole fight that he had with that piece of shit that fought him dirty for 12 fucking rounds, that was a complete setup.
Hopkins?
Yeah, with B-Hop. That was a complete setup. And it was sad to watch.
Right.
You know, if you watch the fight, Hopkins hit him with headbutts at least 40 times. Now, you think about that, you're like, oh, headbutts happen. Now with Bernard Hopkins, those shits are purpose, on purpose.
He was on purpose. Yeah.
No warning, no nothing.
Well, first of all, 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the fight was gonna happen. Then 9/11 happened, and then it like got postponed. I think like 2 weeks later. So B-Hop went back to Philly, and then Trinidad was kind of stuck. That whole thing should have just been rescheduled.
But Trinidad didn't fight for like almost a year and a half, because of his fightings with Don King. And to me, again, Trinidad posed such a threat that, and not only that, King didn't want him to get away from him. That's a money draw. You know what I mean? So he was like
Suge with Pac and this situation, Biggie and Diddy and
So for me, he said, a year and a half off, and then you're throwing him we're gonna go up and weight. You're gonna fight Joppy. You're gonna make Joppy look like easy work. Oh, and then we're gonna give you Bernard Hopkins, and Bernard Hopkins was fighting him like it was a street fight. Elbows, pulling him down, headbutting him. There wasn't one foul call in that entire fight.
Yeah.
They were just letting a lot of shit happen, and so everybody who wants to talk shit about Trinidad, eat a dick. Trinidad, in my generation of me growing up watching boxing, he was that dude that came out. I love the fact that he never wanted to speak English. I love the fact that when he came into the ring, he bring Puerto Rico with him. He always repped. He never shied away from it. So
for me, slapping him in the corner.
The fucking best. The best.
That Trinidad was my guy too. I didn't get to see the other guys before him. I know Speedy mentioned what was the boxer he mentioned? He was the best Puerto Rican fighter ever. I forgot he mentioned it to me. But what Benitez was it? One of them.
Yeah, the Radar.
Yeah. But Trinidad was my guy. That was my, Cotto, I never was really a Cotto guy, you know. But I mean, to think about the losses Cotto had, you know, to Margarito with the lower gloves, and then you know Pacquiao on the juice. You know what I mean? He lost some tough fights too that probably wouldn't have been on his record.
Yeah. I didn't like the Canelo Alvarez and I didn't like the Mayweather fights. I was like, Ja, you know it's over. You know what I'm saying? That's another one. Yeah, that's another one. For me, they knew what this cat was doing, and they let Cotto fight him because Cotto was never the same after that fight. Never. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what anybody says. He was never the same. So, you know, after that, it just became, let me get some money before I leave the sport to take care of my family.
Margarito
you know
should have been charged. Like that should be
how,
you know.
bro, how were you letting him fight again?
Yeah.
You didn't, it wasn't like an illegal wrapping. It was fucking plaster.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
You could just see when his face was like ripping apart. Like every time he punched him, you're like, damn, this shit is.
When did we ever see Cotto like that? Never. Right? So, you know, the person you're speaking of, and I have mentioned this, that they should do a while back. You even picked up on it. That they should do a biopic on him is Wilfred Benitez. He was called El Radar. He was fast and he used to slip punches, like they used to call him a radar because they would throw punches and he would just be like, whoop.
Right.
He was nasty. That's who Speedy was talking about. That's who I mentioned earlier as well. But Cotto was a great fighter, but Trinidad is always going to be in my head, always going to be my favorite Puerto Rican boxer.
Me too. And he's always fighting the Tyson undercards too. So we got a lot of look at him.
Bro, but he was just like, to me, Trinidad offered so much as a fighter, one, and the pride, right, that you saw, and like you mentioned, his father slapping him in the corner. That relationship was just, it was a beautiful thing to watch because they trusted each other so much, and he respected his father. So that was a grown fucking man.
Actually,
he was slapping in the corner.
I think him having his dad probably hurt his career, like
Later,
hindered him.
Yeah, later it definitely did.
Probably, you know, could have learned more from other trainers, but
salute
he'd rather retire.
Yeah, salute to AG the Corner. We were talking about this show. I had told him, I was like, fighters who had their family members or whatever, you know, outside of Mayweather, they never turned that corner.
Mayweather had his uncles too,
right?
Have his father only.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Outside of Mayweather, he's probably the only person that I know that, as a fighter, keeping his family in his corner was a good thing, right? So, they didn't make the transition when they needed to, and Cotto should have made that transition maybe 4 fights before to getting with somebody like what Buddy McGirt did with Gaddy. You know, turn him into a boxer instead of a brawler, right? If he could have got like a Nassim Rahman, or if Trinidad goes to Freddie Roach, I don't know. I don't see anybody beating him. Like, not even Bernard Hopkins. I really don't. But, you know, Felix Tito Trinidad is always going to be my favorite Puerto Rican fighter. For real. Salute. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday. Pay attention to the announcements on the calendar. Shout out to everybody that stayed with us, man. We appreciate it. More announcements coming down, more surprise guests. And yeah, we'll be checking in with y'all next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Like, share, and subscribe, Facebook and YouTube specifically. All right. We out, so?
We out. Have a good night, everybody.